Hi, guys. Welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans. Today is Tuesday, November 19th. I am so glad that you guys are here today. My name is Jen Neitzel. I'm the creator of marketingfornotaries.com, and I am joined by the fabulous, the one and only GOAT herself, Miss Laura Biewer with Coach Me Laura. Hi, Laura. How are you doing today?
Hey, terrific. Teaching out in Concord today.
Oh, it's Concord. I always thought it was
Yeah. I kind
okay.
of feel like Where's Waldo every
Yeah.
time I
I
come on in a different
We
place.
need to get you a little striped red sweatshirt and a little
Red and
hat to
white,
wear.
a little
Where is
beanie.
Laura? All right, guys, if you are able to turn your cameras on, we'd love to see your faces. It helps us get to know you a little better. It helps us with the conversation, but we do understand if you are unable to turn your camera on, if you're at work or driving. We, of course, your safety is the most important. I'm also joined today by our awesome helpers, Matt Miller with the California League of Independent Notaries. Hey, Matt, how you doing today?
Doing good, guys. Looking forward to the call.
Absolutely. And of course, Jen Cooper with JKC Mobile Notary. Thank you, guys. Hey, Jen, how are you today?
I'm great. Thanks, Jen. I'm looking forward
Good.
to
Thank you
this.
guys for all your support
Yeah.
on this call. If you are new here, welcome. We are thrilled you're here. Let me explain how this works. Laura and I are here and supported by Jen and Matt to answer any of your notary questions, whether that's about your business, about marketing, about where in the world Laura Biewer is today. Remember that old series, Laura, from the Today Show, Where in the
Yeah,
World?
Matt Lauer. Where's
Yeah,
where's Matt Lauer?
yeah. We need to do where in California is Laura Biewer today? Um, we are here to answer your questions. All you have to do to get in line to have your questions answered is raise your digital hand that you will find at the bottom of your Zoom screen. There's a raised hand function there. Um, to remind you, we always prioritize live questions first. And then we go to our TNT question sheet that we now have on the TNT website. So if you're just feeling like, I don't have the confidence to raise my hand and ask a question, we do have a form for you to fill out. We'll put the link for that in the chat. Please note, those questions are answered only on this call. If you need a quick answer, an emergency answer, always call the NNA hotline or your mentor to get that quick answer. Okay, we're going to start off the way we always do with some announcements, and that's going to give you guys time to get those hands raised. So you can start doing that now to get your questions answered. And I want to remind you guys that our Notary Business Builder Innovator Spotlight of the Month is Miss Pat McGee with an Etsy store. Holidays are right around the corner, and she has some really cool branded stuff, t-shirts and hoodies, accessories. It's mostly for ladies, but you can customize how you want them to look. So go check that out if you are looking for some customizable t-shirts and different things to wear. I also want to remind everybody, December 14th, our very own Jen Cooper with JKC Mobile Notary is hosting a free online goal setting workshop. The registration is in the chat. You will get a free PDF download workbook and a chance to win Wendy Diem's 2025 Notary Planner. So register and then check your email for the Zoom registration link. That is December 14th, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. All right. I think that's about it for our announcements for now. No questions today, huh?
Oh my goodness.
Everybody's quiet today. I guess we have just spread so much knowledge over the years, Laura.
It's getting harder and harder to come up with new stuff for sure.
Who's got some questions for us? Jen, do you have something to get us kicked off and get people's wheels turning?
Yeah, I would love it if you would share maybe 3 marketing tips for when season just really slows down because people are focused inward on holidays
Okay.
and things like that. How would you suggest notaries market during this kind of season?
That's a great question. I love that question. And I want to tell everybody now, and Matt, please put a link to this in the chat. Matt Miller just released a blog about some marketing tips for the holiday season. I want you guys to check those out. He's got some great ideas. So you can read about some marketing tactics for the holidays there. But to answer your question, Jen, this is the easiest time of year to be marketing. If you are not out knocking on doors and shaking hands and telling people about the services that you provide, you are wasting an amazing opportunity. I'm looking in the camera. You're wasting an opportunity if you are not out there right now. Title companies are having open houses all over the place between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Attorneys are out networking, doing all the holiday parties. You've got in-service parties and nurses' days and all that happening at medical facilities. Everybody's in a great mood. I mean, yeah, we're a little more stressed out because we have more things to do on our to-do list, but it is the time to get out there and promote your business. But how do you do that to really make an impact around the holidays? Number one, create some community spotlights. What businesses do you love in your community? Let me give you an example. There's 2 restaurants in town that my husband and I frequent more than any other place. And if you come visit me, I'll take you to these restaurants. Laura's been, she knows. So one is called Anna Mia's and one is called Hemingway's. And what I would do on my Google business profile is create an event, like a little community spotlight that talks about how much I love these 2 restaurants and why. I'm helping boost them and I'm helping them get in front of my audience. If you want to take that a step further, number 2, you can collaborate with the owners of those businesses and have them also recommend you and your services, because maybe you have helped somebody in that restaurant with whether it's immigration paperwork or their personal financial documents or anything like that. And then the third thing that I would do during the holidays is if you've ever been scared to pop into new businesses, and I know you have because we all have, this is the time to do it. Everybody's going to be smiling. Everybody's going to be happy. They're going to be expecting people to come in the door and bring gifts. So for those of you that have told me, and you know who you are, those of you who have said, Jen, I'm just so scared that I'm going to be interrupting their day. I don't want to be a bother. I don't want to be a burden. You got free reign over the holidays to walk in that office. People expect it. So take advantage of that. Make your pop-ins, branded pens, branded Post-it notes. Go to one of the Five Below stores or Dollar Tree or Walmart or Target, get some candy, get something. I don't recommend homemade things anymore like I used to, but pre-wrapped things, and get in there and start talking to these businesses and tell them what you do and how you can help them when they need it. So Jen, does that help answer that question on a big level?
Yeah, it really does. And I have to tell you something that happens to me on a regular basis. I'll have clients that want to meet me during their lunch hour, business clients that want to meet me and get something notarized while they're eating at a table in a restaurant. I walk in, set up my stuff, do their notarizations. I do that a couple times in one restaurant, and I find that the restaurants start referring me to people just because I've been there doing my notarization. So I loved all those ideas. I love the community featured thing. I think that's really
okay.
Yeah, I love that.
Doing something with your community and highlighting your community, and it doesn't have to be restaurants. It could be shipping centers. It could be the animal rescue shelter. It could be banks. It could be anything in your neighborhood, your favorite dry cleaner, because they did something great for you. Connecting other businesses is a fabulous way to grow your know, like, and trust factor in your community.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking that. Miss Tamara has a question for us. Tamara, tell us where you're calling from and what your question is.
Hi, I'm Tamara Pacini.
Mara, sorry, thank you.
That's okay. I'm calling from Concord, California, which is Northern California.
That's where Laura is today.
I thought I heard that.
Yeah.
At the Hilton.
Oh, okay. You're not far from me. I'll swing by. Can I ask an apostille question on
You
here?
can.
Okay. So I got a call this morning for a gentleman. He's got an LLP for India, which I understand is like an LLC here. So it's 4 documents. He's got 2 documents for the um, LLP and then a utility bill and his passport. So I understand that I need to do notarized affidavits for the passport and for the utility bill, and then the acknowledgement for the other document. My question is regarding fees. So I understand the going rate in my area is like between 150
Oh,
and
no, it's empty.
oops.
Go ahead. The going
Okay.
rate in your area.
Sorry. So going rate in my area is about 150 to 200 for the first document. And then do I charge an additional fee for the 3 other documents?
My answer to that is absolutely. If you are having them sent off to be apostille, then yes, absolutely. You want to charge for those additional documents as well, instead of just that first one. This is a larger order. And with that comes, a higher fee. Have you reached out to some apostille facilitators in Concord in your area and just inquired what they might charge for multiple documents?
I just looked online. I haven't actually talked to someone. But it looks like the going rate, I was thinking 150, but actually it looks like closer to 175 to 200 for the first document, and then at least 80 to 100 per additional document.
And have you priced out all of the services that you will be required to use, including FedEx, a runner, because you're not in, you
Yeah.
have to get to the Secretary of State. You've priced out all of those things in that fee, correct?
I haven't added, so that's a good question. So the SOS fee for same day would be 26 per document. Do I build that into or
Absolutely.
charge it separately for the additional?
He
I've
usually,
heard, go ahead, Laura.
that's okay, Jen, if you're doing it, go ahead and.
No, I want your input on this, but I build all of mine I don't bill anything separately.
Oh,
When
okay,
I
good.
send the bill, however, I let them know that, this amount, for those that want it invoiced, for this amount, this is shipping. This is apostille fees from the state. This is, I go down and I list the fees for those that ask. If not, I bundle it all together in one fee. Laura, how do you do that?
So first of all, I want to say all the freight goes in the first one,
Mhm.
because the only thing left to pay for on subsequent documents in the same order is that $26 fee. Because you already have the FedEx fee if you're using FedEx, you already have the runner fee if you're using a runner. All of that is built into that first one. That's why the first one's so expensive. Now, when they have subsequent ones, then yes, I do discount, because I don't need to charge FedEx again. I don't need to charge the runner again. The only thing I'm charging that's costing me is the 26, and then plus whatever my time is. And so I start out at 186 for the first one, and then I drop down to 86 for each one. So when they got 4, I'm charging 86 times 3 plus the 186, the first one, right? But I'm in Central, I'm not in Northern California where the pricing might be a little higher. Now, my first one includes the runner. It includes the FedEx to get it to my runner. It includes the FedEx to get it back to the client when it's all done. Of course, FedEx is pretty cheap when you're doing a lot of it. So for me, that isn't a big fee, right?
Okay.
So all of my fees are in that first document, all loaded in. And then if they happen to have other ones, I give them a sweet deal on the rest of them. Matt
Okay.
does a lot of apostille work too. Matt, how do you price out?
I think I need to raise my rates. Yeah, I'm similar. My first one is 175, and then each additional submit at the same with the same order is 75 because I tell the client outright I can submit them in the same sleeve. But that's outside of any notary fees, any
That's right.
travel fees, any printing or scanning fees. And that only includes domestic return shipping. So if you want me to send it on to the receiving party wherever in the world it's going, that's an
Mhm.
additional 75 for international shipping. And usually the client will say, yes, please do that for me. Just send me a scan. So that's something you want to keep in mind that you can make a little bit more money off of in the back end. But whereas I could see some people requesting for a line-by-line itemized receipt, I typically don't disclose what I'm paying my facilitator in Sacramento, what I'm paying FedEx, because I have a non-published rate. So I don't typically disclose those. It'll just say California Apostille Service, 175. That's how it looks on the invoice. And it'll say additional documents and however many at that price, notary fees, shipping fees, travel
Right.
fees, that sort of thing.
Okay.
But you want to, it sounds like you still need to hook up with someone in Sacramento. There's a couple of people I can recommend if you want to email me.
Okay.
That can get it done for you. That way you don't have to take a whole day off your calendar and drive over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much do they charge?
It depends on who you go with and what you negotiate with them.
Oh, okay. Is-
Absolutely. And what part they're playing. My facilitator takes care of providing me a shipping label, both to get over there, and then she takes care of the FedEx to get to the client. She takes care of the $26 fee. She takes care of pretty much of everything for me. And so my price is going to be my facilitator fee on my end, plus if I'm notarizing and my travel fee. And so we don't have to break out apostille work like we do notarization work because it's that part of it's not regulated. Just,
Okay.
so like what Matt does is I put, that's my fee for apostille. And then if I notarize and travel, I'll put that separate, but that's as far as I break it out.
Okay. That makes sense. Thank you so much.
And one last thing, Tamara, I just want to say for everybody on the call that's wondering about pricing apostilles, the most helpful thing that I have found is to ask a lot of questions up front.
Yeah.
Make sure that you have the entirety of the picture of what your client is asking for so that you can price it appropriately. You don't want to hear when it gets back from the Secretary of State, oh, by the way, can you ship that for me to India, right? Like you want to take the process from point A to point Z
Okay.
on the phone and make sure that, maybe creating yourself a little
Intake.
reminder sheet of what to ask when
Okay.
it comes to apostilles.
Great.
Does that help
Thank
answer
you.
your question, Tamara?
Totally. Thank you.
Good. I'm so glad. Who else has some questions for us today? Please go ahead and raise your hand. While they are doing that, Laura, tell me how people can connect with you outside of this call. How can they get in Laura's world?
So you can join me on Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. Pacific time for a call that's similar, but not the exact same as this one. It's a smaller group. We start with an intention. We explore that first before we start asking questions. And then a lot of times we end up really hovering on 1 or 2 questions in the whole call. So we really do a deep dive within it. So that's free. Just go to coachmelora.com, give me your email. I'll send you the link. I don't change it. The other way is that if you want to get some strategy about what do I do next? Where should I go? What should I do about a particular thing? Whether it's I want to work on this kind of project. I'm just starting. What's my next step? And that's called a strategy call. Those are free. They're 15 minutes. I start the timer, go. And then whatever I can do for you in 15 minutes. And usually I will end up saying, here are some resources I can point you to go further. Those are the free ways you can connect with me outside of this call. And then I do have training available, which is Laura Biewer Presents. And of course, I don't have the book in front of me, but I got to see that Beyond Loan Signings.
Cute.
And that's available on Amazon if you actually want some training, either through the book that I co-authored with Bill or the Laura Biewer Presents material.
Yeah. Listen, if you guys have not read Beyond Loan Signings, I highly encourage you to go get that book and read it. The link is in the chat. It's a fabulous book, and it really helps clarify each specialty under the notary umbrella. We do have some more questions from Valdemitra. Hello, Valdemitra. Remind me what state you're in.
I'm in California, Northern
That's right.
California. Yeah, I'm sorry, Southern California, North County. How are you today?
Fabulous. What is your
Great,
question
great.
for us?
My question, I wanted to ask in reference to our electronic journal. On the last page before, when you do the review, they ask for the client can give their email address if they choose to have a receipt of the procedure, I guess, that we did. Do you know if there's any way for us to go back and get that email address of the signer? Because I don't see it, it'll show me a little picture of an envelope, but I can't seem to go back to get the email address. Am I missing something?
Okay. I'm just going to take a quick look.
I
Yeah,
just
that's
got
a
off
great
of a
question.
call. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I just got off of a call this morning with Nick Colville,
Okay.
and he was showing me these features. And I believe if they are working on a new export feature that
Okay.
will allow you to access more information about the signer as opposed to just about the journal entry. So I think
Okay.
from what I understand from our call this morning, that is being worked on. And I want to tell everyone why I had this call with Nick this morning. And that is because if you are not on the most recent California Secretary of State Notary Public Day virtual workshop, then you might have missed them stating that digital journals are okay for California notaries to use, and that you need to contact your county clerk when you are turning in journal entries to find out how they will receive them. You might need to print them out, you might not need to print them out. But I think the big breakthrough here is that we finally have our governing body on record acknowledging digital journals and stating that they are okay for California notaries to use. So, Mitra, I believe that feature is being worked on. And for other California notaries on the call, I have invited Nick to come talk about his product on our December 5th roundtable, which is free for all notaries to join. So if you're interested in that, put that on your calendar, go to calnotaries.org /events, and you can sign up for that roundtable. If you've already signed up for the roundtables in past months, don't need to sign up again. You'll get a reminder email the day of. But thanks for the question.
All right. Yeah, I sent him like support emails and feedback, but I hadn't heard anything, so that's why I wanted to ask him this at this meeting. Knew someone would know.
That's a great question, though. Thanks for bringing that up, Valdemitra. And I do want to tell everybody, if you're not aware, the California League of Independent Notaries is a fabulous group. Matt's in charge over there. He's the president of California League. You do not have to be a California notary to take part in these calls. It is for every notary across the country. And if you are not involved in that group, I highly encourage you to get over there and be a part of his monthly roundup calls. Nick Covell, the creator of Jurat's e-journal, which is the electronic journal we recommend. I saw that in the chat. I believe there's a link for that in the chat for you guys. He will be as Matt's special guest. So you will be able to ask him all of those questions. Love that. That's a great guest to have, Matt. And you know, I am a huge fan of Nick's e-journal. What a time saver. I love that thing. Thanks for your question, Valdemitra. And Jeanette Thompson, what is your question for us today? You're in California as well, Jeanette, right?
No, I'm in Michigan.
Michigan. Well, I was nowhere near close. What is
Nowhere near. Yeah.
what's your question for us?
Thank you. Just back to the marketing piece. I just started a campaign with Google like a week ago or 10 days ago. And now I'm questioning, is this a good time to have that? And it's supposed to run initially for like 3 months.
Okay.
You know, now I'm questioning, is this a good time to be, doing that, or should I have waited?
Tell me more about your Google. You created a Google ad. Is that right?
Yes, I add. Yeah, yeah. I have a profile already, and I just talked to one of the, I don't know, agents or whatever, and we got some stuff going.
So why do you think this would not be a good time to do that?
Well, I don't know. I just, when you were talking about, the holidays and people are, busy doing this, that, and the other, I'm like, and well, I'm just questioning myself. Was this a good time?
Well, I mean, you could take that way, or what I think about around the holidays is there's probably more people getting online as they're doing their online shopping, and and possibly coming across your ad. I don't have any kind of statistics about what the best time of year to advertise through a paid source like that, through Google or Facebook, is, because those things they're kind of trial and error. It depends on where you live, your community, how connected you are, how big your circle is, how much you paid for that ad, how concentrated the spaces that you're advertising. So there's a lot of factors that play there. My point was, you cannot rely solely on those kinds of things to bring you business. You're missing the mark if you don't get out in your community, because the people that see your ad, Jeanette, that are like, oh, this is interesting. I need a notary, she has this service, or maybe I need an apostille and she has this service. They're going to be much more likely to meet you if they see your ad and then they meet you in person. It's going to create that trust factor that people need when it comes to handing over their personal documents to a notary. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And I have to admit, just in the week or 10 days, my phone has started ringing more. Is my goal, is that phone to start ringing, because once I get them on the phone, it's up to me then. But
That's
at
right.
first I got to get them there.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
yeah. Yeah, I was just, like I said, I was just curious, because I'm like, is this a good time?
What's
Because I want my book stuff.
what's your
Go ahead.
specialty? What do you specialize in?
Well, I'm a notary. I apostille, and then I have done some weddings, but those
Okay.
three things, trust delivery, I go to nursing homes and hospitals and that kind of POAs, so I'm
Yeah.
just kind of, but
Everything.
I want to specialize, financially, for the financial part in apostille, because that pays the most money.
Sure. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so use this time of year to strengthen connections or make new ones, as people are naturally having open houses, having parties, having get-togethers, having holiday events. Figure out where the people you want to target are going and go, right? Go to those
Okay.
networking events and those opportunities, because there's just so many different ones to choose from, starting around Thanksgiving and of course, wrapping up at the end of the year.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And now that I'm thinking about it, I have my cards and I show up at, at these meetings, and then I pay for the blue check mark, and all that stuff. So that's thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. There's no substitute. This is for Jeanette and everybody on the call. There is no substitute for in-person interactions, shaking hands, eye-to-eye contact, all those things, right? That is so important when it comes to building your reputation in your community. All right, guys, who has some questions for us? I know I saw somebody that was not able to ask a question in the chat. Jen, did we identify that question?
No, and let's see. Somebody was asking, somebody asked about the best notary journal, digital notary journal. I gave them your link.
Right. Yep, that's my favorite.
There you go. Some hands are coming up. I'm not seeing.
I thought I saw a question in there.
It's about Google's address
The
question
Google,
too.
yeah.
But you're gonna get in the weeds with that one because
Will you remind me about that one in just a moment? Because I know Martha's got her hand up. So Martha, where are you calling from and what is your question for us?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm in Sarasota, Florida. How are you doing today?
Great, nice to meet you, Martha.
Very nice meeting you. I try to follow you guys and trying to learn from everybody. But yes, I have quite a few questions. But for today, for this section, I want to be fair, not to talk too much. Notary signing, loan signing.
Okay.
And driving myself that route through the notaries to the loan signing. My question, I have been trying to get in contact with builders, been trying to get in contact with the title companies and stuff like that, but it's a step that I'm not sure if it's okay to do that, if it's all right to say, hey, by the way, this is what I do. If you need my services, here's my business card. Or what is the best way that I can reach out to them and say, hey, I'm here to perform your duties when you don't need to call anybody else, just call me. So I want to hear your feedback because I'm struggling a little bit in that area. I want to connect with more people, but I have rejections, which I do not like. But yeah, but it's all right. It's okay because that's the best way to learn. But since we have you, and I'm glad that I got the email for this meeting, I like to hear your feedback and your expertise and see what's the best way to reach out to these folks.
So Martha, you have a lot of new home building happening in your community.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And so you are looking to identify builder business, home builder business.
Yes, ma'am.
And get to work with them. And it just so happens I have a whole video about that.
Ooh, all right.
that you can learn from. So I'm going to start there, but I am going to answer your question. So Martha, if you go to, and I know Jen will put this in the chat for us, but if you go to marketingfornotaries.com/shop, you go all the way to the bottom, there's some videos that you can rent or buy.
Okay.
And obviously it's cheaper to rent them for 24 hours. But
Thank you.
One of those is how to get home builder business. And Bill Soroka, the notary coach, and I teach you our tactics for building our specific builder business, because I had some for quite a while, as does he. So that will teach you step by step how to do that. But let me actually answer the question here more broadly. When we start to think about builder business, we start to think that, I'll just identify the builders and talk to them. Well, as you might have figured out, identifying the builders and going and talking to them, they don't really care. They don't know how a loan closes. They don't care how a loan closes. They just want their check at the end of the deal, right? So you've got to identify the title company that's associated with that builder. Most national home builders across the country have their own title company that it's in-house that they use. Most of them, not all, but most, especially the big ones, especially the publicly traded ones, because it's just a good business model and it makes sense to have your own title company. But I would say a good 90% of the time, just because your builder is called American Builders does not mean they're going to call their title company American Title. They might call it Blue Zone Title. I don't know. I don't know where that came from, but they might just call it something completely different. And so it requires a deeper, more intense level of research to identify these in-house builder title companies. You really got to do some research. And we show you how to do that in this video, Martha. And like I said, it's just right at the bottom of the page. Right now, there's 3 videos. I'm in the process of redoing all of the page. So just keep going to the bottom of the page and you'll find how we specifically identified certain builder title companies. If you like loan signings and you want to work with builders, it is a fabulous specialty to get involved with, because they oftentimes will invite you in to sit all day and just close all day. And, it's a wonderful source of income. And, I loved it. It was great.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
it's gonna take you, it's not an obvious connection. I would start with identifying the builders in your area, figure out where their title companies are. And you may have to pick up that phone and say to the builder, the guy in the little mobile home box, I know you don't deal with title, but who is your title company? Who is your contact? I need to reach out to them. And you might have to go that route to get it, because it, like I said, oftentimes is not very obvious. Does that help basically answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that. And I actually have been on the phone talking with few companies and stuff like that. I do have one from through Soroka Coach, I think it is, that I got connected with one of the builders in here. So I get some appointments sometimes, but I want to be busy every day. I want to do something every day. So, but thank you so much. I'll be watching for those videos. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Go check out the videos. But the other thing I wanted to tell you too, when it comes to builder business, you really cannot expect to walk in there, introduce yourself, meet them, and get the business first thing. You're really going to have to dig, Martha, and be persistent and let them know you're serious, because it's not going to be a one visit and boom, you're their favorite notary. You're going to have to earn that business. Okay. So as long as you're willing to do that, you're going to be very successful with it.
I will be bringing some cookies or donuts or something like that, so they'll remember me for sure.
Definitely following the 5-point marketing process with it. You still want to make sure that you are in that office and they can see you. It's very important that they can see that you are professional. So the video will help you a lot. Jen, did you have something to add? I saw you came off mute.
Yeah. It's also going into the builder and don't be in there shopping yourself. Hi, it's me and the notary. Don't do it. They hate it. They're not going to listen to you. Go in curious. Look at the building plans. Look at the mock-ups they have in the office. And when they are going to come out and talk to you, you just look and say, I'm just kind of looking, trying to get an idea of, I'm trying to get some new ideas about my house plan or whatever. Make something up if you have to. You can organically say, who's your go-to title office, or escrow officer, not just title office, because they'll say you title office and you have 30 people you have to find. Ask who their go-to escrow officer is. They're going to say something really nice about that person, probably give you their contact information. So when you email them or call them, I like to do it by email first and say, hello, so-and-so, my name is Jennifer Cooper. I happened to recently walk this property. This person said wonderful things about you. I'd love to connect with you and possibly help promote your business and serve your business as a mobile notary. that immediately got me a response email, and I have been doing work for him ever since. And most of the time I get business from doing it that way. So making sure that you present yourself organically, that we do not walk in anywhere screaming at the top of our lungs saying, I'm a notary, because nobody cares. Really trying to build those relationships is the key to building a business. Those relationships will build your business. And without them, you don't have a business. That's
Excellent.
the only thing I wanted to get on my soapbox about. I'm
I
sorry.
know it's an
Thank you.
excellent point. Because you know how difficult it is to secure that builder business, Jen. You've been through it. So it's an excellent point. And I just want to remind you guys, if you are looking for that system to help you build those relationships, check out the 5-point marketing system available at Marketing for Notaries. It's going to walk you through that one step at a time. And I'm also going to teach you how to manage that fear that you have about sales, because I know we all have it. So hopefully, Martha, we answered your question. And thank you. And Ramona in Florida has a question for us. Hey, Ramona.
Hi, Jen, Laura,
Hey.
the whole crew there. Good to see you guys. I know it's getting kind of close to the end, so I'll be quick. I recently rebranded and I changed my name to Notary 365. Now, when I was going in to change my URL and getting new domain names, I was only able to get my Notary 365. Thank you, Jen. You gave me that idea.
Yep.
So, do you think, because I have already changed my name with the Secretary of State, but before I get into a whole lot of marketing materials and changing Better Business Bureau names and all that stuff, I wanted to know, is it best to have the same name as your URL for Google My Business purposes and stuff? Or is it okay to have my company title, Notary 365, and have my webpage and my URL and stuff say my Notary 365, or should it be the same?
Personally, I think it can be different, but I think that if you are rebranding, why not just take everything to my Notary 365? Or do you just want it to be Notary 365?
Well, I wanted it to be Notary 365, but I didn't realize at the time that the URL was already taken.
Right.
And I changed my name and everything because I wanted it shorter. I didn't want a really long thing for people to type. And I was at iSign Docs before, and I have a real Southern accent. So is Docs D-O-C? Is it D-O-X? What is it? So I did change the name for simplicity wise, but I just don't want to go down the hole where I have to change everything again. But I like people to be able to find me if they go on Google. Because if I type in my thing now, it comes up your Notary 365, and that's not even me. So I just want to know the clearer path to make sure I have conformity.
So let me just get that. So when you type it in your URL and you put my Notary 365, something else pops up?
It comes up, but it doesn't come up at the top like the first thing. And I don't know if it's just because it's new, but
you haven't built any SEO around it yet. So that kind of, makes sense. I could see how you go either way here. Laura, do you have an opinion on this? I can see either way here. Ramona, you and I have talked about this before. I think when we were at the Empower Summit, weren't we talking about this at Empower?
yes.
Yeah, I don't see a reason that it has to be exactly the same. So you don't have to go back and rebrand and just kind of push forward with but Laura, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think it has to be the same exactly. A lot of people use abbreviations because their business name is so long and they don't use the entire business name. So for instance, for a long time, I was using AYS for at your service, AYS Notary. And I didn't have any issues, but I do want to just point out a lesson for others who are considering rebranding or changing their name. The first thing you want to do before you change it is to see if the URL is there to support it, because it's much easier to play around with your name to find a URL that will support it than to change your name and find out it's already taken.
Yeah.
So the order in which you do things, we should be looking at that first before we go forward with other things.
Okay.
Very good lesson. Very good lesson. I think you're fine, Ramona.
Yeah.
I really do. I think it's just building up that SEO that, for the new website and getting yourself to the point where you do pull up. No matter what you're called, you are pulled up in those top 3 when people search notary near me, right?
Yes, yes.
Because when you rebrand, you kind of got to start all over.
Oh, yeah. And it's a lot going
It
into rebranding. I didn't realize how much stuff you do. It's been 2.5 years at the other name. And now I'm like, whoa, I forgot I did that. Even just going into the websites and making sure your emails get to you and stuff. It's a lot go into it.
Lots. It is a lot. I agree. But I'm glad that you're through the process, and I'm glad that it sounds like you are going to just stick with what you got so you're not overcomplicating it. Simple is always easiest.
Okay, well, thank you very
Matt,
much.
do you have something to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that user iPad put something interesting in the chat, which is when they rebranded, Google took all of their reviews from the old brand. So something you might want to consider.
Okay, I'll double check that. I thought I saw my stuff still there, but I'll double check, because sometimes things catch up a little slower and then they'll disappear one day. So I'll double check that for sure. Thank
Thanks
you.
so much, Ramona.
Thanks.
All right, Michael has a question for us. Michael, where are you calling from?
Hey, good afternoon, people. Bad lighting, whatever. Okay, can you hear me now?
I can, yes. You're in Virginia?
I'm out of the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, and I've been doing this for about 5 or 6 years. I've conducted over 6,000 closings, and I wish I spoke another language. I always get called out to a real estate office, and Martha, you're the one that prompted me to chime in here, but anybody that has a second language, track down those realtors, and the realtors of the language. If you speak more than one language, go after the real estate agents and they'll tell you who they use for title companies. And then the title companies will have a need for that second language. I wish I spoke another language. I get called out all the time and I have to refuse because I cannot have a translator. So to Martha and anybody else out there, please, you have a little leg up there on that. So that's all I had to say.
Yeah, anybody that speaks a different language, it should be front and center on your business cards, in your marketing plans. You should be reaching out to people from that community of your specialty, whether it's realtors or attorneys, whatever. That's great advice, Michael. Thank you so much for that reminder. Love it. Love that.
Thank you. Good day.
Absolutely. Okay, did we have any, I thought I saw another question in the chat, Jen.
Well,
Did I miss?
I have the one that we were talking about earlier. And it's
Okay.
Savannah, and she's in Florida. And she just said, I have noisy kids, so I can't unmute at the moment. But I have watched an NBB video from Jim. She's talking about Jim. She doesn't know his name. About Google Business Profile, and somehow cannot get approved. I don't have a physical office, so it's more difficult. Anyone else overcome this and have tips? I did tell her, and I'm going to say it again. It is not more difficult to get approved without a business address. You just have to go about it differently when you're doing a home-based business that you don't take clients at. But it's not more difficult. It might seem more challenging, but it's really not. It's pretty simple.
Oh, you put your home address in there and then you click the box that says, do not advertise this location.
Yep.
But Google wants you to have an address. You're not going to get around that. That's their rule, period. End of story. You got to have an address. And if it's your home address, that's fine. But there's a little box you check that says, do not publish this, but they can still verify you that way. And here's the thing with Google: if you don't do every little thing they ask you, you're not going to get approved.
Yep. And people have had different experiences. Some people have to, I had to record a video. A lot of people have to record a video, and you've got to change your video settings so it's not too big, and it's very frustrating. Where I have to run up and down the street to show cross streets, and it's a workout and it's not fun. And so having to redo that over and over again does not sound like a good time, because it's not a good time. But
I see a couple people that are laughing and nodding their heads like, oh,
whatever
God,
they tell you to do, just follow the instructions and keep trying and just keep trying, because there's no way around it, is the thing. If you have to get re-verified, you've got to do what they tell you to do to get verified.
As
But
a service-based home business, and that's how you have to go into it too. You can't tell Google up front that you have a brick and mortar business and then try and get around. You have to start at the beginning saying I'm a home-based service business.
Yeah.
So
And somebody's commenting, don't get a red pin. You can still have a red pin. You need a service area. It doesn't have to be at your house, and it won't be at your house if you click that little button. It'll be in the service area that you set up as your service area, ideally in the middle of all that. But that's a Jim Allen deep dive.
if
Yeah.
you guys are looking for instruction, you know, we had Jim on a couple weeks ago. We had the whole TNT episode dedicated to him. And he is absolutely a guest that we are going to have back. In fact, in 2025, Laura and I are going to be coming up with lessons for you guys from experts that we've met over the years to help you grow your business. And Jim's class is outstanding. And you guys know we are only recommending courses and trainers that we have vetted, Laura and myself. And Jim's course is outstanding. The link is in the chat for anybody that needs his course and needs that support. He will help you with your Google business profile. And our last question for today is coming from Brian in Elk Grove, California. Brian, what's your question for us?
Hang on. No, that's to piggyback off of the Google Business thing. I'm going through that right now where I have to expedite all the documents and showing that I'm a real business and all that.
You're going through that process now to get verified?
Yeah, I tried doing it the first time and it didn't get approved. And all
And that
that.
happens. That happens frequently. I hear that a lot. You've got to go through, like I said, every single step, get everything complete, and then get them what they want. And it can be frustrating. But Brian, I encourage you, if you haven't reached out to Jim and his class, if it's something Google business profile is something you're struggling with, there is no one better than I can recommend to you than Jim Allen and his Google business profile training.
I know, I reached out to him. He got kicked out too on it.
You
We're
did?
going
Yeah.
verification process again.
It happens to everybody, dude. At
It
some
happens.
point or another, it happens to everybody. You get in Google jail, you get unverified because you changed something. Like I moved and I had to get re-verified again. It's a pain in the butt. But Google's free. So what are you going to do? You can't really complain about it too much. You're not paying for it. So do the work, get in there, and you need it. You need Google business for your business. You need it.
You got to have it. That's just it.
Yeah.
You got to have it. You got to do what they say. It's going to be frustrating. Just know that going in, right? Like, but setting it up the right way from the top, and keep in touch, Brian, with Jim, you know, keep in touch with him. He's wonderful at support after the training as well.
Yep, thank you.
You got it. All right, guys. Laura, do you have any last minute words today for us?
Oh my God, it's only 1:08. I didn't know I was ready for last words.
Oh, well, we don't have any other hands up. Does
Well,
anybody
we
else?
don't have any other hands up, then guess what? These are the last words.
Yep.
Think about it. Think about what's happening in your week, and make a note of it. Did I do this right? That's unusual. All week long, I get calls, I get texts of documents. Can I do this? Is the certificate okay? Can it be a photocopy? Do I have to have the original? Lots of different questions that I field for notaries as well as for the public. And so even if you happen to have figured it out during the week, you might want to bring it to this because other people will learn from your experience and from your questions. And when you share it, although you do the heavy lift for us, everybody benefits from it. So please consider bringing that. Otherwise, we're going to bring the show to a close that much sooner.
That's right. Thank you, Laura. Very wise words, because you guys are the ones that bring the situations to us. And if you have that question, I guarantee you someone else has it as well. Thank you guys for taking the time out to be here today. We will be back next week, same time, same channel. We'll see you then. Bye, guys.
Bye.